The Olders' home was a wreck, no question, and it probably should have been torn down if anybody simply wanted open space. We took the project on because I suspect the challenge was intriguing. It became almost a great opportunity to share an insight into the fact that there really had been a history here, and that these things offered us lessons for today that were very important. We pretty much stripped the whole house down to a redwood frame and then recovered it again. And it's a tremendous labor-intense activity.
It was detective work too.
Yeah.
And it was kind of fun because some things came back to the house that had been spirited away, and Cora Older's heir gave us back gave us a bunch of books and some furniture too that had been here. So we started making all these connections. So around every corner there was something new.
It gave us some insight into how you can add some layers of depth to the community, which in a sense was part of the mission we had taken on when we started community newspapers in the valley, because we made an effort to use those newspapers to enhance community organization and bring people together and give people a sense of belonging. And that's really what we hoped could be accomplished by this project. I think the fact that we were in the same general profession as the Olders was very influential. Fremont Older, of course, was this very unique editor, and he was an editor at a very special time in journalism in a very unique city, San Francisco. The other thing about the architectural aspect of the house is that it had been and I can't remember whose quote this is, but some architectural historian looked at this and said this design was a rejection of the Victorian. And it was basically a kind of house being built around 1912 that was not being built anywhere else in the valley, and essentially told the people with Victorians, with their dark woods and smaller windows and all that kind of thing, we're going for the light. We're going for the garden views on the windows and the whole porches. And, the architect who did this, a man named Wolfe, was very much into the Prairie School of architecture that Frank Lloyd Wright and other people like that were advocating, of letting the architecture fit the landscape. And that's why it's a flat roof with big windows and big doors and everything that isn't being made anymore.
What I like best about the house is the light coming in at all times of the year. If there is sun out, there's plenty of sun around.
Yeah, I would say the thing that I enjoy the best and will miss the most when we leave the house is the feeling of uplift that you get when you come out in a morning like today and just look around, and it is so satisfying to be in this kind of of landscape. It's like a tranquil island, and that you can't duplicate that very much in Santa Clara Valley. We're always very happy to open up the house to people who have an interest in this kind of restoration and preservation. It does add a certain sense of community to living in a valley that all too often becomes one big vast anonymous mass. And so just as the open space district created a series of experiences for people to get away from their subdivision house or their condominium and get into a totally new atmosphere, I think the house serves that same purpose, and that's why we're always glad when they sell out the docent tours every year.
So it's always a pleasure.